Which is now. We're now live.
We are now live.
We are.
Hey, everyone, I'm going to wait for it to appear.
I'll just make sure and see when it shows up on my phone as well.
See it? Right. That's looking good. Let's open the chat. We should do a little post in Discord. I'll do a little post in Discord.
I didn't change the YouTube thumbnail. It always happens when we go live on YouTube. Hello, everybody watching on YouTube right now. Sorry for the wrong thumbnail. It just always happens that we don't change it. We forget to change it. I forget to change it. Sorry.
Well, I mean, there's a lot to think about going live on a live stream.
Yeah. On 3 different platforms at the same time.
Yeah. So right now I'm about to post a message to the Discord. Hey everyone, this is hey everyone, me and Ecologs are now live at https://twitch.tv/endless with 3 S's FM. Send now. Right. Hi everyone. How are you doing? Hey. It's a very exciting day because we just showed you the first version of Endless Running as a VST inside Ableton Live, which is really freaking cool and very exciting indeed. Terrafeeder, hi, how you doing? Welcome, first person in the chat tonight.
You don't have the restream chat up because there are also is also Injo Reyes and Inverted Popes in YouTube chat.
Right. Cool. Okay. Hi everyone. Sorry, I've got the Twitch.
Hang on,
chat.
I'll send you the link so you can.
Oh yeah,
I'll Slack it to you.
Nice.
Just gotta make sure you're logged in.
Right. Okay. I'm not sure I'm even logged in on this machine, but here we go. Hi, we're really professional. Well, put it this way. I think
we're just hanging out.
We're just hanging out. I think our software development game is probably a bit better than our live stream game. No, actually, to be honest, it's me that brings the chunkiness to the live stream. Xbox is always on top of it. I don't have a login for that. Hang on, let's just. Right. Okay.
Hey there, Reggie, Oreg808, Cohen, Stoics here, NJ Lang.
Oh, amazing!
Hey, it's Vanzi. There's also some new names here, which I like to see.
Hey, it's Vanzi. Wow, cool. Hi everyone. Welcome to the stream. As I was saying before, it's a very exciting day. We've just released a little kind of first glimpse video of using the Endless Studio VST plugin, and we have it here. I have it here running on my MacBook Pro with Ableton, with the Endless VST plugin. You can see it; it's kind of composited nicely into the screen. There we go. It's full screen, so I'll do a little walkthrough here. So now let's go back to the front page. Here you've got a front page that has all the jams on it. So I can switch here between my jams or the joining jams. Browse through them all like this.
It's getting all of them. Nice.
Yeah. So you've got all the jams here.
How many are you in? Like 200?
I've got over 200 jams, which I have not been very active in recently because it's all been a bit much, and it's been all sorts of other stuff to think about. But I tell you what, once our Kickstarter campaign is over, there's going to be more time, I think, to do other stuff. But anyway, back to the task at hand. So here we go. This is my jams, the my jams page, all the jams I'm in, and obviously I've got the joining jams up there, and I can also go into my solo jam at the top here, but I'm going to go into the Timothy and Matthew jam here. Am I? Okay, I think let me go into the minimalistic techno jam. Nice. It's unhomunculus. So yeah, so you can see at the top here I've got all the riffs. I've got the complete history of riffs up here that I can browse back through. So now I'm basically listening back to Uncle Homunculus' jam, and you know, it just sort of goes all the way back into time, back into the past. All the madness is available to you. So, but I'll go back now. I'll go into Timothy and Matthew, and yeah. So here you can see you've got all the tools there. So I've got my drums, and I can play them on the screen like that. But I can also play them on my MIDI keyboard, which is, I mean, it's such a simple thing, but it's such an important thing. Also velocity sensitive, and you know, work with any keyboards. So this is a Native Instruments Complete Control S49. And at the moment, we don't have MIDI mapping for the loop controls yet. But I mean, you know, that is really not far away. We do have MIDI mapping capabilities, but they're in the desktop version, but not yet in the VST. But I mean, that's going to be coming very, very soon. So at the moment, I can, you know, play stuff on the MIDI keyboard, and then loop with the mouse like that. And you know, you've got the pack browser. I've got all the different packs I can browse through in the Infinite tier.
Can we get a sample pack of you playing the keyboard? Just the keyboard noises. Can we get a sample pack of just keyboard noises of you smashing the keyboard?
Just like mashing the keyboard. Yeah. So yeah. Hello Teo, hello Stoic, Kun, Terrafeeder, Flicker Pixel. That's cool. What's going on with the scaling of the sample on the loop display? Oh, is that like so you mean it moves quickly here and here, and then it slows down? It slows down again. That's basically to represent, because it's not a sort of linear display. So you've got you hit that one, you capture 1 bar. You hit that one, you capture 2 bars. That one captures 4 bars. So basically you need to fit in 2 bars of waveform in there.
Yeah. And
that one captures 8 bars. So that's fitting in 4 bars of waveform.
So it squashes down exponentially.
Yeah. So yeah, I've got all the sound packs in there. And you know, you can browse through all the packs like that. You've got the note packs. Obviously,
I think you'll need to turn down your speakers just a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Or shout a bit more. Whatever's more comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. So also another thing is like I'm back at Endless HQ. This is, you probably can't see much of it, but I moved back last week. Back out of my flat into Endless HQ, which is great. It's great to just have some space. I was going slightly mad in, doing all the live streams, doing everything for Endless. But I mean, that's what we've all been doing in the last 3 months. So I suppose that's kind of normal. Y-Cross, how will reprocessing audio work? Will there be some sort of external effects option in the effects section? So that's a hot topic. That is not going to be in version 1, but put it this way. There's something kicking off outside.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Sounds slightly. Yeah, maybe. Oh, I don't have a mic. It's up at my phone.
But yeah, so if I got the question correctly, like basically you got a Riff playing in the VST, then you route stuff out into just your DAW to run it through some effects or whatever, and then run it back into Endless.
Yeah, so I mean, it's something again like we will get to in the future, because I mean it's going to be so cool. Basically, where you've got an effects designer where you can just drop VSTs into it and map them to
Technically, I think you could do it it like in a workaround way until it's like fully implemented by just muting all the layers that you don't want. And so then Endless is just outputting the layer that you want, and then you route that through your DAWs as you want, and switch to the mic in page like you were doing earlier. If you can switch to the mic in page again, as if you were playing at a VST in. So it will be possible, but in a little like workaround way until like there's like proper routing of like, oh, I want an output where it's just playing a certain layer or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a moot point. We'll figure out how to implement it. But basically, A, it's super cool. B, we will do it someday. C, it's not going to be in version 1 of Kickstarter Endless Studio, but it is super cool. I was actually just been talking. If you folks know BT, producer who's just launched Stutter Edit. I mean, Stutter Edit 1 was years ago, but he's just launched Stutter Edit 2, and we were getting excited about being able to, use Stutter Edit inside Endless. One day. So I was right.
Is Endless VST an instrument or an effects? I assume it's an effects, so it can sit on an audio channel, right?
Yes, there's some debate about how we're going to do this, because I think there are different ways you can set it up as both, really. And I think there will be some scenarios where it will make sense for it might be easier to use it as an instrument, because I think it really depends on the host you're using. But
exactly.
Some hosts are very flexible, and allow you to like route audio and MIDI to an effects plugin and audio and MIDI to an instrument plugin. But some hosts, I think, are very much like, if it's an instrument, you can route MIDI to it. If it's an effect, you can route audio to it. And if you want to mix them, then it gets more complicated.
Right. I can definitely tell that Ableton is very flexible in that regard. I have used like stuff where it's technically an audio effects plugin, but it has a MIDI input, and then you can route into that. So Ableton will detect that.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was the other way around. I don't know. But there was one combination where it's exactly that situation.
Yeah. The best bit of it is, of course, sampling. Oh, hang on, I can turn it down. It's sampling plugins into it. So I've got Native Instruments Complete Control set up, rooted into it. So I've got some. Actually, I can't remember. So I've launched the Complete Control browser now, and I can. Which I have to confess, I don't actually really know. I don't know this very well, but it's got Slew in here. I can even launch my own plugins. Anyway, I won't do that. But what I was excited playing around with Monarch earlier, which is this amazing synth lead. Let's have a synth lead. So this is just playing. I'm using the built-in arpeggiator in the Complete Control keyboard, or in the Complete Control plugin. There's arpeggiating Native Instruments Monarch plugin, and then that's going into Endless, and then you can see that it's piping through into the looping buffer, and then so I can just like. Which is just immensely satisfying. could loop that and send that as a riff. Did that send the riff? Ooh, no, it didn't send it to riff. We were having problems earlier with it. So I can now pick this up on my telephone, which I'm going to do now. So I've made a little riff with a VST plugin, and now I've got it on my phone, and I can mash it up. There we go. It's now playing back inside Endless Studio VST, and now I can.
And now I mashed it up.
And now he mashed it up, and now I'm gonna put some kicks down on it. Oh, and it didn't loop again. But anyway.
There are a few more questions. As you started demoing, a few questions came in, and I don't want to skip them. So the first one was, if it is a VST, what will happen when I try to import it into FL Studio? Well, it will run as a VST on your track. So FL Studio, Ableton Live, like the typical, and anything that can run a VST should be able to, without problem, run this, because it's gonna be a VST. That's the whole thing that's trying to do, and that's what's the great thing about this then.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got the same work. It really doesn't matter about the host. There was a question there about is the host aware of the key? No, the host is not aware of the key, and I think this is, here we're getting into the territory where Endless Studio standalone is probably going to make more sense. Mm-hmm. So at some point, again, this is not in the kind of like version 1 spec, but at some point you'll probably be able to host VSTs inside Endless itself, the standalone, and obviously that will be aware of the key, so the key and the tempo and everything, and you have all the deep control that you have kind of when you're in the Endless ecosystem, because obviously when Endless VST is running as a plugin, it doesn't have control. It can't tell the host what key to play things in. It can't tell the host what tempo to play things in, etc. So it's very, well, in the new speak, it's main and secondary. Mm-hmm. So Endless Studio VST is a secondary. It receives its instructions from the host, whatever your host is.
Another question earlier, or rather as like a feature request, it would be fun to run the Endless effects inside of a track. So I understand it's like just using it as an effects unit that you can, so it's not like running through the typical like riff thing and the looper, but just using the key masher or whatever as an effect.
I was sort of thinking it's probably,
what it would need is, so you go to the mic in page and play something in and have that monitor out at the output right away. Then that would be it, right? Like you just pause the looper and have the input monitor to the output, which the iOS app currently does, kind of.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm sure. I'm thinking probably more to the point that to make the Endless effect, I think it really would totally make sense to make the Endless effects available as just effects in your DAW. Yeah. But if that was running as a plugin with like all the sort of the network syncing
behind it, that's
all that stuff, that'd be like a whole bunch of bloat. I'll tell you what we haven't tried yet is running more than one instance of Endless VST in Ableton. I'm not even going to try that yet.
But I'm going to do that when it's out. Definitely.
Yes. Well, exactly. Yeah. So will Endless Studio have to be on the master? No, it doesn't have to be on the master. Yeah. It probably does make sense to run it on a return track, actually.
That's how I run my whole setup with the extra audio interface. How does Riff tempo interact with the host's clock? I don't know if VSTs are able to change the host clock. Maybe if you route MIDI clock out. We haven't tried it yet, but there might be a workaround with like Ableton Link, where if the plugin itself does Ableton Link and the VST disable, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, Ableton Link doesn't work in the plugin currently.
Mm.
I've tried that, and to be honest, I don't know whether it's been disabled just for the plugin, just for now, just to kind of get it running. It's definitely something worth trying, because obviously it would make a huge amount of sense because obviously someone can tempo troll you. They can send a riff at a different tempo, and you don't really want to be. It's going to be a bit confusing if you can't change the host tempo.
But at least if I go to the full screen again, at least what you can see is that the hang on, I can actually use my cursor here. The BPM is always visible. So even then, in that case, you can quickly change it. Whereas in the iOS app, you have to like open a menu first to check what the actual BPM is, or go back to the chat or whatever. The BPM is always in front of you, so you could turn it up if necessary.
Yeah. So some quick questions. CV Wonder, what about the stems for audio in the VST? How do you get them onto separate tracks in Ableton? So what we are going to implement, we haven't implemented yet, is basic drag and drop from. Oh, I moved the. Sorry, I moved the.
That's okay. I'll fix it before I switch back to the other one.
At some point you'll be able to do this and just drag and drop a riff.
Yeah.
Into the session view.
Yeah, it's kind of like what this is something that Ableton can do right now. Is you select a bunch of audio clips in your file explorer and then drag them in, and then you get them as individual clips, and you can say give them put them all in one row or put them all in one scene horizontally, and kind of like dragging it out of the VST is kind of like dragging out of a folder.
Yeah.
If you use the punch-in looper, what's the maximum loop length?
I think technically 64 seconds. I think currently. That was the last I knew, but I know there've been some. There's been some tweaking in the back end, but I'm pretty sure that's still the case. 64 seconds. Just going back to my design, synced arps in my DAW to be able to compose a sequence in my DAW and having sync. Don't always want to play something in live. Right? Yeah. No, totally. So that's definitely possible. The reason I'm not doing that now is because we don't actually have. So in the current version, we've got like this kind of world's very first version here. We don't have. Ableton endless syncing to the master, the host clock, which is what you need, because if you're obviously with Ableton you've got the I don't know what Ableton actually call it, but it waits to trigger something till the beginning of the next bar to trigger something.
Launch quantization, right? Yeah. So in order for that to kind of make sense with endless, you'd have to have endless in sync with the host clock, which it isn't yet. But basically, yes, launching arps and so on, and then letting them play through into the loop buffer in endless, totally legit way of working. In fact, we have there's a setting in the input tool that allows you to basically, so it's called monitor until loop. So let's say you've launched some loop in Ableton or some kind of ARP and you're tweaking it away, and you want to create a loop of it. And obviously, once you create the loop, you want it to stop playing. So what monitor until loop does is it, as soon as you hit loop, it turns off the live input signal. So you don't get this kind of like phasing, doubling effect. Anyway, I probably ranted on a lot about that. Maybe the VST plugin could communicate with an external process, endless desktop, and that the external process acts as able to think. Yeah, I mean, there'll definitely be ways around it. Echo can fix anything. Echo, it's true. It's true. It's very true. Drag and drop. Yeah, drag and drop is going to be a game changer, I think. Can you sync Ableton Link?
at some point in the future, could we get a little VST nubbin that just shuttles audio MIDI to and from the Endless Studio standalone version? It sounds like your question has been answered anyway. Will the layers be drag and drop enabled to? Yes, yeah. That's all part of the plan. Again, we don't know the micro details about this, but we know that it's possible to drag audio in and out, between plugins and hosts, back and forth. We don't know exactly what the details are about what we'll need to do to implement that, but we will implement that because it's really cool, basically. To do what you demonstrated today with going back and forth between iOS and desktop, do you need Studio HD? So CV Wonder, no, you don't. Now I get your name. CV Wonder. That's very clever. I like it. Wow, lots of questions now.
No, you don't need Studio HD. That's a good no.
So basically, the free forever version of Endless uses 192 kilobits per second. Bit rate. So it's kind of good enough. If you're messing around, it's totally good enough. Studio HD will use FLAC, which is so completely lossless. I mean, it's the file sizes are slightly compressed, but it's exactly, you can check, you can transcode a WAV to a FLAC and back to a WAV, and the WAV will be exactly the same.
It's lossless compression in this case, like a zip file.
Yeah. So it's basically, if you want to use Endless in the kind of really sort of professional context, that's what HD is for. But obviously, when you get HD, you also get a whole bunch of other stuff. You get the
infinite subscription, the sound packs and effects.
You get the infinite sound pack, and you also get so another thing that we haven't really talked much about here is the sound design tool, or the instrument pack design tool that basically allows you to make your own sound packs and share them across all your devices. And that's also, being able to share sound packs across your devices. That's going to be an HD feature, or a feature that comes with the HD subscription / lifetime membership. Is this the alpha we can lay our hands on? So if you're a backer, if you've got the instant prototype access thing, then we will be sharing. We might not necessarily be sharing this build immediately, but we do have a build of a desktop version which we can share with you in July, and we're going to basically get as soon as we have builds, we're going to get them out. But they will be buggy, and they will be crashy, and they will be very feature incomplete. But the main, so if you get the Studio HD lifetime deal, we will get you the first alpha version by December. So that's the sort of the earliest access without getting into the really sort of crazy, unstable builds that don't have any documentation, etc. If you want that, get the instant prototype tier. And if you really want to get it like now with all its flaws, then go for that. But the first kind of fairly usable, stable-ish version will be in December. I mean, I say this very, very, very carefully, but it feels like we're actually a little bit ahead of schedule now.
Don't say that.
Yeah, a little bit. It feels like we're a little bit ahead of schedule. But I'm kind of saying that because I'm really proud of our dev team. They are incredible.
They're killing it.
They are absolutely killing it. The speed at which they're doing stuff is really, really good at the moment. So
yeah. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the phase when there is enough common architecture. I mean, there is obviously common architecture already, but where we're at the point where anything that's new in the app is new in any version. And if there's new features, Because I mean, obviously that's gonna be the goal. Like the feature set is gonna be about the same.
Yes, yeah, that's what we're aiming for. Going to pick off some quick questions there. See how for sample rates are supported. Dub query. Actually, that's a good question, because if your VST is running, it just runs at the host, whatever your host clock, sample rate, bit rate is. And I know that the backend itself just supports riffs and layers of different sample rates. It just interpolates them. So I'm pretty sure it just supports anything that your host supports. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Big question: when the coasters? So the coasters will ship. Not exactly sure, but it's going to be. I'm going to say by the end of August, and that's giving us some wiggle room. So. So yeah, I think that should be fine. Has a prototype level backer? I'm pretty helped. Amazing. Yes, and so are we. Can you share sound packs with other users, like on iOS? So this is a really interesting wormhole of a topic. So in the long run, the idea really is for Endless to kind of become, less of like a thing, like a service that we provide, and it becomes more of an ecosystem / marketplace / place where you can make riffs, you can make songs, you can design sounds, you can even if you're an expert Endless user, you can run classes or courses in Endless. And the idea is that this stuff will could be. So let's say you've got, like, the vast majority of people on Endless are just here to they want to mess around and have some fun. They don't want it to be too complicated. And what they do want is to be kind of shown the ropes by more experienced people. They want to be given sound packs that are really interesting, and they'd want there to be lots and lots of sound packs from different kinds of people, and they might pay money for these sound packs. And in the long run, we would like you, if you'd like to make your own sound packs and sell them, or maybe have a more sort of Patreon style model where you could build like a sort of small niche audience, or even a big less niche audience on Endless, and people could subscribe to you. Let's say you'll make a couple of packs a month, or you'll give them some exclusive jams, all this kind of stuff. I mean, this is like pie in the sky future thinking, but that's a glimpse at the long-term plan. So that's how sound packs could fit in eventually. But this is like version 6.0. Studio actually, with all its flaws, actually, with all its randomized workflow innovation features. You get 80% in 20% of the time, and the last 20% in 80% of the time. Yes, that's very true. As there was bad puts you to say your head. Also, final in a file should be banned. Yes, Kilmer Bill. Yeah, yeah. Oh.
Everything's still there.
Yeah.
Nothing changed.
Network error. I'm looking at the Twitch stream, but hang on, I'll reload it.
Everything's fine here.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
We're good.
The Mibri C64 demo should have. Well, oh right, I see. I've lost all the questions now.
I think we got through all of them, actually. Looks like there are no more questions. All questions have been answered.
You're on it. Right, in that case,
just give us some good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you, this is what's really good about Ender Studios, because like I know actually. So I'm using Monarch, which is Native Instruments Minimoog emulation. And actually, I know. So I was working on Flesh, which is one of the plugins I did with Native Instruments. And at the same time that they were working on Monarch, we were just kind of like stayed in Berlin for a bit and worked on it. And they were working on.
Oh, sorry.
That's right.
I forgot you can't turn off autoplay.
But like they went to such efforts to recreate all the filters and all the idiosyncrasies. They actually built this entire like signal analysis tool chain in Reactor in order to analyze the sound of the filters and the signal path and the oscillators. It's nuts the detail that they went. But anyway, what's really cool about Ender Studio is that you can then take all that effort and all that deep diving that went into making a Minimoog model, and then you can just pipe it into Endless and jam with people, which is really cool.
By the way, next time the stream is going to be hosted from the Endless Studio again, so we get that sweet low end, which sadly our video chat software will not provide.
Right. I'm just going to pick that up on my phone. Yeah, here it is. Just like a little loop of VST plugin on my phone, just there straight away. It's just so exciting. Damn. Here we go.
Ooh, yeah, Green Blue Spiral is bringing up something cool. Looking forward to dragging riffs into Ableton Wavetable as wavetables.
Ooh, yeah. Oh. Yeah, actually, no, we're gonna go. It's funny, like, I think I kind of prefer the sound of my phone speaker. It does something really crunchy to the mid end.
Little Wing on YouTube saying, the more I see you talk about and show us these Endless Studio glimpses, the more attractive it's looking, even though I said I would stick to iPad only.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, when I got the build at the weekend and started messing around with it, there's, you get that feeling like when you theoretically think like, yeah, that's going to be good. And then the thing actually happens and you're just like, oh, it's always like, I don't know, if you go and, you hear about this amazing picture in a gallery and you see sort of recreations of it, and then you go and see the real thing in the gallery and you're just like, oh. And it was a bit like that, using the plugin at the weekend.
And I imagine it's quite different to the times when you were working. I mean, I don't know if you can compare it. The times when you were working on your own flow machine, like you think of a feature and then spend like the whole weekend implementing it, and then it works at the end, but not maybe completely, but it works. That feeling compared to our devs come back with a new build and you can just use it.
Yeah, it's funny because, yeah, obviously I'm no longer the guy. I'm no longer the guy that has to go through
and do it,
and do it, and through the rabbit warren of like tearing hair out, trying to like debug little bits of code that just aren't working, and trying to get like cosine weighted S curves cross fading perfectly, and you've got like one sample that's doing a little like at the end of it.
Oh, and you hear every sample that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I don't like that process. It's a different thing, I think, because it's just getting something to work when you're actually coding it is very rewarding. But you know, but then that sort of, I think while I was coding stuff myself, I didn't have as much an idea about the sort of emotional impact of features. I think now I don't do the coding. I get much more.
I'm going to use the C word. You get into the consumer role.
Yeah, let's say the creator role.
Creator. Oh yes. Sorry for using the wrong C word.
Yeah. There's plenty of C words.
The other bad one is content.
Well, content, yeah. But for me, content is the big C word. It really, the idea of, it's so demeaning. It's so demeaning to what creativity is about. Anyway. I'm not going to get more.
If endless standalone is fully controllable from a push to, if we got a Linux ARM or ARM version, you could run it on a Raspberry Pi and have like a neat little standalone endless hardware setup like piano. Okay, yeah. You figure that out. Probably. Yeah.
So, I mean, this really is a whole thing. I have to say, I've been surprised about the number of requests and questions we've got about Linux. And it turns out I didn't realize that making music on Linux has had a real resurgence recently, and
yeah,
so
probably thanks to Bitwig Studio and Reaper, I would assume. Yes,
exactly. So and obviously Endless, the core Endless app is built in Juice, which compiles cross-platform. So theoretically, we just sort of just like tick build target, for Linux. But we're also using a whole bunch of like database SDKs and all this kind of stuff.
The networking stuff is the tough part.
Yeah, it's just basically when you've got there'll be some parts of it that will be really easy to deploy on Linux, and there'll be other parts where we'd probably have to do quite deep porting of stuff. But Endless's hardware is a very cool idea, and getting Endless to run on Raspberry Pi would be awesome. I'll leave that there. I won't commit our very talented, very stretched dev team to deploying on Linux. But again, if it's something that's really worth doing, then it's clearly worth doing. And if it means that we're then Endless is then opened up to this really sort of bespoke, hacky world where people can kind of do all sorts of crazy stuff on little Linux boxes, like the what's that? What's the other one? There's the Bella board that runs on. It's not Raspberry Pi. It's another.
Yeah, now it's on my. Now it's on the tip of my tongue as well.
I was going to say
someone in chat will say it in a second.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Arduino? Or is that another thing? Different?
Arduino's a different thing. No, hang on. No, maybe it does work on an Arduino. But no, there's another one. There's definitely another kind of like system on module that's not Arduino and it's not Raspberry Pi. It's another thing.
I need to get it working on my microwave. Yeah, we need to get in on the Internet of Things.
BeagleBone, that's it. BeagleBone.
Never heard of that.
BeagleBone, yeah. Makey. Yeah.
No, definitely. I see a future where there's a touch screen on my refrigerator that runs Endless, and I can just like use the key mesher while getting some milk from the fridge.
Yeah, yeah. You can key mash your milk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm also like on the other end of it. I have to say, I'm really excited about like an Alexa skill. You know, play the latest riffs. Alexa, play the latest riffs on Endless. And you know, you just sort of drop in, just Alexa plays back a bunch of stuff. That's so man, it's really exciting. But that's very much at the other end. But wouldn't it be amazing for Endless to be a thing that I'm wondering, you've got, you know, people deep diving into Linux builds and making like crazy hacked hardware, making weird music, and then, you know, the other side of the world, someone's just like, Alexa, play the latest riffs on Endless, and then Alexa plays music that was made like in this crazy, weird, hacky version of Endless. I mean, that excites me.
Just think about the fact that, I don't know, 10 to 15 years ago, I don't know how old like Twitch and Ustream and all that was before like live streaming was a thing. If back then you thought about like people just live streaming from their living rooms and other people just watching it on their televisions, that would have sounded crazy. And now we're talking about something like that, but just with audio. I mean, I don't think it's too far off. It's just a matter of time, really.
Yeah. So Dubquery says just provide me the database API and you get the Alexa support. Well, that's quite exciting. I mean, wow. I thought we were just going to be talking about like how in the studio works, but now we're.
I have a feeling with Endless we've discovered a new concept which is called hiring via live stream.
Yes.
Because every time we do a live stream, we get somebody whose very expertise is exactly what we want to do. It's like, all right.
I mean, totally. Man, there's so much exciting stuff. Oh, right.
Do you want to play us some more stuff?
Well, yeah, kind of. Right.
By the way, even though it's not in sync, I got the Riff playing here, but it's only filtered for the low end, so I fill up the low end that's missing from our video chat. Ooh, what are these graphics?
Chaos.
Utter chaos.
It's not bad. It's not too bad using it with a trackpad. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, I guess so. With a trackpad, it's a different thing than with a mouse.
Yeah, I think with the combination of trackpad and like keyboard, keyboard shortcuts or MIDI controls, I think it could end up being not too far off the touchscreen experience.
I mean, my dream really is to have the VST plugin running in Ableton, but I can control it from my iPad. Like, my iPad isn't doing any of the actual audio processing. It's just, navigating the UI or, basically controlling it as like a MIDI controller. Which, I mean, you can do it with like apps that act as like a MIDI controller thing, but like having a bespoke Endless controller on the iPad would be cool.
Yes. Yeah, no, I could see there being a place for that at some point.
Or you just get a Windows Surface, and then you got it.
Right, I'm gonna go back to my phone now. So I think the sampler works like better on my phone. Oh, those loops were. Yeah, there's some. I mean, there's a few kinks to iron out in it, but still, I mean, it works, and you can get a feel for it. But those riffs are the same for some reason. So, but we will figure that out. Yeah, sometimes Tim told that AUV3 is going. Oh, I hope I didn't say it was coming soon. I think what I meant is that probably the first. It's AUV3 supporting AUV3 plugins in iOS is definitely like our first priority in terms of kind of plugging into the iOS ecosystem. So it will come soon, but it's not imminent. It's not going to be like in the next couple of months, but we will do it. That'd be great. Able controller apps are flaky. Duet. Wow, all these things. You mentioned Couchbase and another stream. Yes, yeah. Couchbase is currently what the back end is based on, and we're looking at that, especially as we start building out more of the kind of social features around it. There might be other more suitable database / network socket stuff that will make it easy to build out that kind of stuff. But yeah,
cool stuff.
So
3 more days to get on the lifetime deal that will never appear again.
Yes, that is the key. That's the key point. That there definitely will never be any more lifetime deals for Endless Studio HD. So if you think that you're the type of person who would like to take Endless and the Endless workflow, embed it in your DAW and use it at like proper professional quality, then Studio HD is the one for you, and it will definitely save you cash in the long run. And you also get a bunch of stuff, like you get a special avatar that will be your unique avatar. Well, no, not your unique, but there will only ever be the number of avatars that there are backers on Kickstarter.
I got them on screen right now. I mean, that's not what they're gonna look like, but just the Kickstarter perks.
Yes, exactly. But there'll be something along those lines. So you get a badge, and oh god, I can't remember now. What?
Look at the screen and you will see.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you do get early access. So the full launch, public launch, is going to be kind of spring next year. But you'll get it in your hands soon. Well, lifetime deal guarantee upgrades above. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because the lifetime deal is so Endless is. Endless is a service, really, because all the collaboration stuff. There's a whole lot of back end that we need to maintain. We need to store data. We need to pay for bandwidth, stuff like that. So we really want to kind of emphasize the subscription side of it. We know that's controversial. We know there are people who don't like that. So we're really trying to find a way to give people a chance. People who don't like subscriptions a chance to get it up front and kind of own it forever. But particularly the lifetime deal it's basically a subscription for lifetime. And obviously when you get a subscription, of course you get all the upgrades and the software upgrades with you for the rest of your life. So yeah. How close to the next goal are you? I only see euros.
I need to check again.
I can check on my phone. Let's see. Let's see if the needle has moved. Yeah, we've had a good 20 or so more backers in the last few hours, which is pretty good, I think. So we're now £12,629 away from the next stretch goal. Yeah. So yes, 3 days left. I think it might kind of pick up a bit now because we released a video about Endless Studio. So yeah, people on board. I have to say, didn't get the lifetime Studio HD deal. Will regret it. I mean, I shouldn't feel like that. That's my job to feel like that. But I have a feeling that is going to be the case. Dub query: have you considered external effects so I can route things through a modular? I see that latency gets added is challenging. Yes, latency compensation is difficult, especially when you don't know. Basically, you don't know exactly the kind of latency that the converters are introducing as well, etc. But I mean, again, that would be a super cool thing to be able to kind of process through your modular in Endless. Dynamics version, my only subscription I have, and I'm good at that. Thank you, Terrafeeder. Cool. We'll have control mappings and bright NKS. Yeah, so we will. I mean, I think we will implement some kind of NKS support at some point. We need to look into that. I mean, basically, all this stuff is just going to get added to and added to and added to. And where we're going in the long run is really, we want to support every single MIDI interface under the sun. Obviously, we're going to go for the more popular ones first. Able to push, Machina, NKS, Launch Key.
Launch Key, please first.
So yeah, all looking pretty exciting, I must say. Yeah. I'm just. It's funny that this patch is actually called Addict, and as my name's Tim, and I'm an arpeggiaholic. I really need the hold button.
Hang on, me.
Uh-oh. I've got another one out. Uh-oh.
Oh no. I don't think Twitch will like that very much.
Arpeggiated Anonymous, yeah, anyway, there we go. Where's the hold button when you need it?
Okay, guys, everyone pledge some more money on the Kickstarter so we can get this guy a sustain panel.
Yeah. Yes, intimate. Yeah. The merch is. Oh yes, the merch is there. I think we're looking. So actually, I wanted to back in a sec. I want to find something. Where is it?
Getting something off the shelf. I don't know
what
he's getting.
This.
Oh,
this
that's the thing.
So we're going to have these as part of the merch. Yes, get one of these. If you don't have one of these, wear one of your own. Wear them in shops. I'm on a little bit of a. Occasionally, I get on these kind of like sort of armchair activist things. Wear your masks in shops and wear your masks on public transport. I mean, I think I'm probably mainly talking to people in the UK here, because I think actually...
You're also talking to people in Germany, believe me.
Yeah, people in Germany doing this.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, people in London are not. I'd say 95% of people that in the shops that I go into.
Okay, that is a crazy ratio.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So particularly people from UK, get your shit together, wear your masks. If you haven't got a mask, in 3 days' time you'll be able to order an Endless one. And we'll try and get these out ASAP because we've got these made. I've got a batch of these made already. So we'll try and get those out as soon as possible, probably sooner than the coasters. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've just gone over the hour.
Yep. Just about.
Time some more arpeggios. Yeah. Any final questions before we sign off? The same. Well,
no, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, it's only playing one face mask at a time. Here we go. Any final questions? Anything you want to see? Well, particularly in the VST, because it's going to be it's going to be a little while till this will be in your hands. So if you have any questions about
holidays, Tim.
Holidays. Yeah, no rest for the wicked. Thank you, Teo. I appreciate that. One of these days, like suddenly a big kind of spacious, the big space of time for the whole Enders team is going to open up, where we're just like, everything is fine. We don't need to do anything more, and we can all like go and hang out. I mean, it's probably never going to happen, is it? But Endless API, yeah, this Endless API thing. I mean, we need to think about this, because I mean, I would love the whole thing to be really hackable. Well, not hackable, but we need to really think about what is, what we open in the API, and how it works, and what's possible, and what kind of use cases.
I just imagined a dystopian future where I enter a join and jam, and I'm just jamming about, and then like 10 minutes later some bot joins and says like, hey, buy this product.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, you have to be super careful when making APIs. Or you could just be a little bit flaky and just make an API, and then and not really think about it, and then when someone does something crazy with it, then you just like shut down whole parts of the API.
Yeah.
And then render useless all the third-party apps that people develop for it, which I think is a really rubbish way.
It's the usual case of it's definitely something that would be really, really good, and as Tim said, like, it's something to think about. But at the same time, there are many cases I can imagine where I would go, yeah, this is why we can't have nice things. So it's something you need to be really careful with. If you think about all the other websites that provide APIs, you can do good stuff with it, you can do bad stuff with it. So, yeah.
I mean, if you're in API crew, we would really like to hear.
What are the plans? What would you like to do?
What would you like to do with the API? I mean, if you make a fantasy list of API calls that you'd want. 6 feet apart. Hello, boys. 6
a
feet
little
apart.
bit more than 6 feet. Let me look over there. I think it's a few hundred kilometers.
I don't know. It's probably it's probably getting on 2,000 kilometers. Oh.
Wow.
Anyway, practicing my social distancing. I just started building a little web player for Enders, but I don't want to poke at your current backend without permission. Oh man, yeah. Well, basically, once we get to the end of the Kickstarter campaign,
Apparently 360 miles.
360 miles.
Yeah, that's a stone throw away.
That is not that far at all.
Let me add some more feet.
Yeah, right. Anyway, if you have ideas for API, like jot them down. Send me a message, or even. I mean, does this even deserve a Discord channel?
I wouldn't put it in its own channel, but I want to clean up the feature request channel anyway. Not clean up as in like clear it out, but I wanted to start like categorizing all the feature requests better, so people can see what's already there, and then like I wouldn't say vote on it, but maybe like leave those reaction emojis in Discord. And I would just say dump it also in the feature request, and I can see how we can sort it out.
Cool. Well, yeah, keep dreaming, everyone. Yeah, I mean, it'd be amazing, it'd be really amazing. Yeah.
Dreaming on stream again.
The possibilities are. Of course.
Oh, don't! Oh, I'm stopping the stream when you do that. When we've resorted to that kind of joke, I think it's time to sign off.
Isn't it? Yeah, I need to go and have my dinner, and I'm sure plenty of other people do. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for all the questions. Thanks for all the interest. Yeah. We're super excited to get you Endless Studio.
Yeah. Play us out, Tim.
Right. Okay.